Is your team taking advantage of every opportunity to perform their best? Does your team's performance sway depending on the client, the situation, and the stakes? Well, this reminds me of a team that I led last year. I had the privilege of spending a week in rural Kentucky to speak to groups and students about team building using very similar concepts that I teach professional adults. As we drove through the lush green hills and past the original KFC, I was singing Coal Miner's Daughter and smiling every moment of the trip. I was leading a team of facilitators and had planned on speaking to about 45 students per day at various schools. We woke up our first morning of the training filled with gusto and ready to speak. As we got there, we discovered that the entire county was abuzz with FFA and 4-H meetings. These are associations focused on working the land in agriculture and livestock and very popular in rural Kentucky, same as rural areas in my home state of Oklahoma. The coordinator did not know that all of this was going on in the exact same week and apologized and told us to be prepared for significantly fewer students. Not a problem, we would adjust. On our first day, only 3 kids showed up. Now let's be honest, it's a little difficult to teach an 8-hour session on team building with only 3 people. The coordinator apologized and she told us that she could send the kids home and we weren't obliged to do anything. She said that we could do a half day, and she said that she didn't really have a lot of expectations in regards to our performance because really no one had showed up. To make the situation even less desirable, the AC was out, and we were located in an auditorium in the middle of June. Whew, it was hot. The circumstances were definitely not ideal. But we had traveled all the way to Kentucky to talk to people about building better teams. And we had to ask ourselves, are we giving our best for 3 people the same way that we would give our best for 3,000 people? And that really is a question that is used in our work teams today as we set a standard and strive for higher performance. And it illustrates some of the ways that you can set standards to create an environment of high quality performance in your teams today. First, you can communicate the non-negotiables. We didn't have a lot of guidance from our company as far as policy was concerned about what to do in our new situation. But we knew a few absolutes for our team standards. We were there to teach students about goal setting, and we were there to build connections with the attendees, and we were there to perform our very best. And this was our opportunity. Your team should treat every opportunity as an opportunity. So whether it's 3 or 3,000, you have an opportunity to demonstrate the excellent service and insights for the company. Do you have a client that has been wronged? That's an opportunity to wow them in your righting of the wrong. Do you have a team that has a product that has gone awry? Well, this is your opportunity to not only fix the problem, but to build a better version. You can create a very clear standard in your team. So whether that be through a policy or procedure, it's a very clear value, a mission, a standard, and an expectation of excellence. Let your team know what greatness looks like in your team. They should know the non-negotiables. And then prepare your team to adapt. This is not a one-size-fits-all. As your team faces different opportunities, whether it be circumstances, clients, or cloudy days, your team must be able to adapt and adjust. I knew as a leader our non-negotiable standard and expectations. But naturally, most of our prepared content to teach team building to 45 students was completely irrelevant in our new opportunity. Most of our activities required a minimum of 5 to 7 people. And as we were doing one activity, I was actively thinking of what that next activity could be. Different variations and alterations or completely different activities that we could use to demonstrate the exact same point. We had the freedom and we had a little bit of wiggle room to make our activities personal for our clients. And so by the end of the training day, we actually had 7 brand new activities that we had created due to our limitations. Limitations often inspire creativity. And this was a perfect example of that principle turned true. So equip your team to know the progressions and know the variations as they are prepared to adapt and adjust when facing clients, circumstances, and really tough situations. Finally, train your team to have an excellent mindset, no matter the situation. I'm reminded of the classic football movie, Rudy, when the aspiring runt of a football player gives his all every day at every single practice. His teammate gets frustrated because the others look bad compared to Rudy's heart and drive, and the other teammate shouts out in frustration, "It's the last practice of the season, and this guy thinks that it's the Super Bowl." At this, the coach promptly tells him that he's just summed up his entire sorry career in one single sentence. He shouts back that because of that, and because he only has a tenth of the heart of Rudy, that he could have made All-American, but as it was, he was going to be demoted from the 3rd team to the scout team. Does your team have an excellent mindset? And with that small client, are we serving that small client in the same way that we would serve a big client as far as excellence and determination of high quality goes? Does your team give excellent service and strive for excellence no matter the situation? It may be the last practice of the season. Are you still training like you want to go to the Super Bowl? I consulted with an HR department that had a culture of bending over backwards for certain high-paying positions, giving extra breaks, special treatment, and absolute best customer service to higher-ranked positions. But these customer service expectations were not all across the board, and not to all employees, or in the HR viewpoint, to all of our clients. Lesser thought of positions were not treated with the same respect, accommodation, or attitude. And this dramatically affected the overall customer service of the department, which of course set a precedent for the organizational culture and performance and success. Back in Kentucky, we made adjustments and spent the entire 8 hours with revised games, training, activities, really to illustrate the same powerful messages that we came to teach. And the next day, we actually went to a different school in a different area, but 4-H and FFA was still going on, and ironically, we had the exact same number of attendees, a resounding 3. But we didn't even flinch. We knew that we had committed to do our best, no matter the person, nor no matter the number of people, and the client came back with an overwhelmingly positive review, and she booked us for later dates with way more students. We were given a clear and easy excuse that day to really take the day off. But our team had an expectation, and we really saw that opportunity as an opportunity to really be extraordinary. So in your team, here's what I want you to do. Lead your team in seeing the opportunities to shine in performance by setting a clear standard of expectations and preparedness to make variations and progressions and adjustment. Foster a culture of excellence in every opportunity, big or small. And that is how you can become a higher performing team.